Hey, I'm Midnight. I do free Deadlock coaching and some fast-paced guides. Let's talk about the patch notes. This is a little hotfix that just came out, but honestly, I think it's bigger than any of the patches that have released in the last 2 months. But it is still a shorter one, so I'm going to keep this video pretty quick. First off, we got the normal FU to B buff. Calico got actually a pretty decent buff, which I was surprised. I myself thought Calico was the only hero they had added that was balanced or underpowered. All of the other new heroes feel very, very strong and very, very oppressive. But as I've started to play more and played against good Calicos, I think this character is also already very, very strong, just people haven't really learned how to play her. I do agree with the movement speed buff to her little cat form, and destroying breakables, that, I mean, obviously. But the buffs to her slash is, I don't know. I think this character, and bullet damage, I think this character has already been a problem, and it's just people are really getting their hands on her, and once they learn how to play her, I think this is going to be really, really fucked, because like I said, I've already seen people that can do a lot of work with her. We got a holiday nerf, although it's kind of neutral. It's not like a crazy nerf, but I think overall this is a nerf. They reduced her bullet scaling and reduced her crack shot by a bit, but then improved its spirit scaling, but obviously she doesn't build that many spirit items. Reduced her powder keg by a lot, and then they made her headshot trigger on minions, so she'll have a little faster clear. She can also get the cooldown off now by shooting minions. That's right here. So now she shoots minions, she can get her, crack shot off cooldown a little sooner. They did do a small buff on its tier 2, giving that damage back from earlier, because she was very, very oppressive in lane, as I'm sure everyone who's had the displeasure of laning against her knows. And then they fixed a couple bugs and then gave her a lasso tier 2 a little more duration. Mirage got a Scarab's nerf. I mean, I'm sure we all expected this. 25 less max health stole, but it does actually scale better with Spirit. So now, I don't know, I don't fully know this thought process. Maybe he wasn't doing crazy stellar, but as a Mirage main, I can tell you that his Scarabs currently are very, very overtuned, and definitely, I mean, this would have been a fine flat nerf without the buff to Spirit scaling, which I think is actually going to make him even stronger in the end game. Everyone who plays Mirage and has played against Mirage knows his Scarabs are very, very strong right now. A nice Shiv nerf. His Slice and Dice has been feeling pretty rough to play against, and like it does a lot of damage. So pretty good nerf overall to that, and then, more to Bloodletting cooldown, and more to the how long it defers damage. You can do as much as you want to this ability. It's going to be annoying and very, very strong. No matter if you made this cooldown like 30 minutes, this ability would still just be the worst. So they can keep tuning this as much as they want. I think it's still going to feel bad and make him feel way too tanky. Pretty big Magician nerf. He definitely deserved it. I've been playing him a little bit, and I definitely think his bolt and all this stuff being nerfed needed a nerf, especially his assistant. However, I do feel like his gun definitely needs a buff. Like the bullet velocity is so weird and it feels so bad to play with. And also, I think his ult either needs to have a longer cast range or last longer than 10 seconds when he steals it to give you more time to think. But I do think immediately all these nerfs are pretty good. They just made rabbits have a little more movement speed to run away, and now fixed a couple things, like with him being able to TP with the urn, and then they nerfed his bolt. Obviously, this has been doing a ton of damage, and a pretty significant nerf to how long his assistant lasts right here, and the cooldown on his assistant. Honestly, don't quite know how he made it into the main game like this, but I mean, I'm glad to see that we are taking steps in the right direction. Pretty decent Vindicta nerf, a little bit less movement speed, a little less bullet velocity. I don't think she's been crazy OP, but I've said this once and I'll say it again. The game is better when Vindicta is in a bad spot. The game is just not good when Vindicta is strong. Obviously, Viper got rolled a lot with her gun damage on this patch. This character does so much damage and has so much sliding movement speed, especially in the late game with the Venom XQ and all of that. I'm glad to see her get some bullet damage nerf. -2 to her bullet damage is pretty significant. Obviously the whole overall damage or nerf to gun damage, which I will talk about in a second. But I don't know if this will be enough. This character feels fucked when the Viper is good and you have to play against them. And I don't know. Like I said, all the new heroes are still finding their spot, but Viper definitely feels very, very strong. So I'm glad to see some nerfs on her, but I do expect to see more. Pretty big nerf to Wraith and General Hurt card, which, I love fuck Wraith card. And they did buff her ult a little, which I do think was deserved. It's felt a little weak since the whole change to it just silencing and disarming instead of holding people up. I still kind of hate Wraith and hate playing against her, and I'm glad to see the card getting a lot, because when Wraith stacks 3 cards, it just does so much damage. I'm glad to see Wraith take a hit, but she did also get the ult a little buff, so it is a nerf, but it's not too major. Another nerf to Yamato bullet damage. As long as her gun builds in fruition, we'll keep seeing it nerfed, because I don't think Yamato gun build with her ult will ever be healthy for the game. Okay, here's the big line. The whole reason I decided to make this video was because they just snuck in this line, which is crazy. As anyone who's following the channel knows, I have not covered the last 2 patches because I've just thought they are too small to even cover. This last patch was literally I mean, it's 4 new characters, but these are the patch notes. I mean, this patch was literally 4 sentences, so I didn't think it was worth making a video off of. If they had just dropped 4 new heroes, I would have, but the fact that these heroes have been in the hero labs for the past, 2-3 months, we all know what they do, we all know what they have. I mean, there were some small ability adjustments, but it was nothing crazy. I just didn't think it was worth making a video on, and I saw a lot of people who made like 10-minute videos about, again, literally a 4-sentence patch, which is pretty crazy. But I'm not going to stop doing content on this game. I'm not going to stop doing patch notes, but if you see me skip a patch, it's just because I don't think the patch is major enough to talk about. I don't think I can make that long of a video on it. And I also don't want to like make a half-assed video that I like stretch for mid-roll. So anyway, but back to the gun stuff. So it's all heroes base gun damage and growth reduced by 10%. And the other numbers were just on top of the global reduction. This is crazy because this is a flat 10% damage nerf of like all gun stuff, because the base gun and scaling, like every item you buy, which I'm actually in the item screen. As you can see, it gives plus 15 weapon damage, which is a percentage scaling from your base damage. So this is just, at first I didn't think this was as major, because I didn't realize that weapon damage was a percent base, but this is, and someone could correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure it is a flat 10% nerf to pretty much all bullet damage, which is very, very crazy. And going to be pretty impactful. Where's the tab? There it is. And going to be pretty impactful. Obviously, we've been in kind of a gun-heavy meta, so this is expected, but it's pretty heavy-handed to just do a flat 10% reduction. We'll see how this feels. We'll see how this, I mean, this could be, I don't know, this is kind of a see how it feels type of thing, but just a heads up, every gun build is now, 10% worse, give or take. So we might start seeing Spirit come back into more into meta, or see another Spirit meta, surface, which is, the Spirit metas are, I don't know. Hopefully the game just finds a balance. I don't enjoy Spirit metas or gun metas particularly. Yeah, there's no chemical fire nerf. I'm sure we all expected this. I honestly expect to see this item nerfed even more. It's very strong, especially on characters that can like lock you down. I don't know, Warden, whoever, who can just lock you down, throw a fire on you, like Kelvin. It just does so much, getting now 40% extra damage, and then just destroying objectives. So I'm glad to see it nerfed. I expect to see more. And then a very big sharpshooter nerf, honestly, 10% less damage and a 0.5 increase to the movement speed penalty. Sharpshooter's been very strong, especially on Mirage, the Mirage long range build, which I don't think anyone is a fan of playing against. So it is good to see that this item's getting nerfed. Overall, I think this patch is pretty solid. It's pretty much changes that I like all the changes I see here, and this the minus 10% gun damage I think will be pretty meta defining. At least for this patch. I'm sure there'll be more to be continued to work on. If who knows how long they release them. Hopefully there's a new one soon, but it could be a month. Who knows? Like I said, I'm going to cover all the patches that I think are worth covering. If you see me miss one, it's just because it's a small patch, or it doesn't really have that much, or it's like I could make a video on this, but it's going to be a few minutes. It's not worth it, not worth dragging out. And trust me, I get how it feels to be very busy, so I just want to make content that doesn't feel like filler or wasting your time, and just gets, is this patch worth spending 10 minutes of every valuable day? Then, here it is. You can watch it, you cannot, whatever, just kind of keep it like that and not get this filler. Since I did miss the last patch, I do want to very briefly go over the changes to these heroes since they've released. Nothing crazy, but literally just the 1 minute video I would have uploaded before. First off, I have my HUD off. Okay, good start. Sorry, I was taking a thumbnail. First off, Magicianal now steals the enemy ult. Don't know why I demonstrated this on the target dummy, but you can now get target dummy ability 4, which is, very strong. If I get a enemy here, it just will quickly get all the cooldowns. It'll take the Infernus ult. I can pop it. Just literally copies his ult. And it is a very short range. I have Instacast on, but it's this is the range. It's what, 10 meters? Yeah, it's 10 meters. A very small cone, which, for only keeping an ult for 10 seconds, it does not give you that much versatility. I think, like I said, I think you either need to keep the ult longer or it needs to have a little more range, but we'll see. That's the big change. Next off, Calico doesn't have words anymore. Thank God. That is the best change they could have ever made. She now can turn into a cat, which just, moves a little fast, gets you around. She has her normal slash, and I don't know if this is new. I honestly never played Calico, but she throws little, sticky bombs. And then her ult, which is new, makes it go invulnerable for a second, and then you just do big damage around you. It's nothing too crazy. It's good for dodging some, Warden Cage, Infernus ult, that type of beat. Only real difference with Holiday is now her ult is a skill shot, which I think is a pretty good change. Okay, I'm washed, but I think this is a pretty good change. I am not a fan of point and click CC in games, especially MOBAs. I love to see that they are making a skill shot, which also just feels a bit better to use and a bit better to play. I don't think Viper's changed at all. Her Shank might be new, but it's basically just Shiv Shank, and that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you want to see more. I'm trying to get to uploading YouTube more. I've been streaming every day, 11 a.m. PST for about like 4 or 5 hours, and then I also work a normal job, so my time is very stretched thin, but I love to do this. I would love to turn this my main source of income, so I hope you enjoyed, and as always, keep it real. Also, comment any other feedback you have or anything you want to see, or just, leave a comment for the algorithm and boosting. And yeah, say you hate you about $1, call you Ball for free. Anyway, peace.